the ability, greatest love in my life. I don't know, that's a really... I don't know. I can't really answer that question.
What talent would you most like to have?
Ability to sing.
What's your current state of mind?
Mellow from good red wine.
If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
That I would procrastinate less.
What do you consider your greatest achievement?
Any time that some action or interaction of mine has helped someone on the path of their life, and I know that that happens in ways that I'm not aware of. You want an example of that? I once gave a talk about hunger, world hunger, which I used to do back in the 80s, all over the place. And after I'd given a talk at a school, a couple of weeks later, the mother of one of the children stopped me in a grocery store and said, you know, you had a great impact on my son. He was so moved by you know, you're talking about hunger and you know that there are people that are hungry and everything about hunger, that he went out and got a paper route, and he took all of the money from that paper route and sent it to the hunger organization that you were representing when you spoke at the school. So that ability to impact somebody in that way, and my goal, when one of the things I had hoped that I would be able to manifest when I was young was that I would be able to change in a positive way people's lives just by my presence. That was somewhat naive, but I've tried through action and representation to have an impact on people's lives.
If you were to die and come back as a person or thing, what do you think it would be?
Well, human beings cannot come back as anything other than human beings, and I will come back. And in a reincarnation, I'm not sure what the will and destiny of the world is for me, but I would like to manifest as someone who could express himself better through movement and music.
What is your most treasured possession?
That's a pretty interesting question, because I just cognitively in the last week came to the realization that I don't have any possessions, including my body, and that everything that I either feel I have or have access to or is in my life is out of the sacrifice of other beings. And so that's what I would say about that.
What do you regard as the lowest depth of misery?
No hope. And I think it's the misery of the world right now. I think it's the misery of the world for young black men. I think it's the misery of the world for young Muslim men and women. It's people who have no hope. And when they act out of no hope, it's true misery for all of us.
Where would you like to live?
If I could live anywhere? Well, I'd like to try living in the warmer climes of Europe for a while, actually. It'd be great.
What is your favorite occupation?
My favorite occupation is to get paid for thinking.
What would you say is your most marked characteristic?
Marked characteristic. Outside of my large hook nose. My marked characteristic. Personality characteristic, I guess. Yeah. The ability to love.
What is the quality you most like in a man?
Being able to access the feminine aspect of his being.
What is the quality you most like in a woman?
Being able to access the male aspect in your being.
What do you most value in your friends?
Truthfulness and loyalty to the truth of friendship.
Who are your favorite writers?
My favorite writers. That changes a lot, but all-time favorite writers in the world of fiction would have to be Ernest Hemingway. Of those writers who both, maybe Goethe, in terms of spiritual work, of course, the work of Rudolf Steiner. In poems, there's just so many, but certainly T.S., maybe because I came to him early, T.S. Eliot, Thomas Stearns Eliot, Vachel Lindsay, Sarah Teasdale for women. I mean, there's just so many, it's really hard to say beyond that.